First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Weatherman, we can't allow any further delay.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Fox 12 Weather Podcast. This is episode 139. I'm Camila Ortiz, joined by meteorologist Payton Major. Hi, Payton.
Hey. Happy Thursday.
Yes, happy Thursday. We're getting through the week. And what a week it has been with those temperatures, which happens to be the first topic in our podcast, is the roller coaster ride we've been on, right?
Absolutely. Hot, cold.
I know.
May's been interesting.
It has been. It really has been. So, let's jump right into it. It's just us two today if you're listening and not watching. So, I actually don't know where Mark is this time. Do you?
I think he's just using his comp days.
Oh, okay, great. A little staycation.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a good week for it. My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Oh, me. I'm in charge.
Let's get into it. You just have to hit the buttons is all.
Yeah, I forgot my one job.
No,
okay.
No. So, temperatures in Portland the last 2 weeks is what we have popped up on the screen here, if you happen to be watching, which we always recommend. You can see we had a nice stretch of temperatures in the 60s, the 17th through like the 22nd, and then we started on this roller coaster ride where we kind of got ridge, trough. So 3 days in the 80s over the last week, and we think we're going to notch one more tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, and it's truly been so warm. I mean, even though it was 84 on, what day is it? Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday. Then, tomorrow will likely be another warm one. So, usually we should be in the low 70s. It's not too common.
Yeah, to see the mid 80s. Yeah, I mean,
80s.
15 degrees warmer than average is pretty dramatic. And I will say, like, initially, models were making, I can't remember if it was Friday or Saturday. They kind of flip-flopped on what day, but one of those days looked scary. Like, I remember on Sunday, the 850 millibar temperatures were like 21 and 23.5 or something. And I was like, what kind of hell heat are we going to be enduring on that day? So thankfully models immediately backed off, I think back into the teens, which is still really warm, but that was scary to see.
But anytime, we just went from a week of 60s to this, so it's going to feel a lot different.
Yeah.
But there's Friday. We were telling you it's 87 degrees are still a forecast high. We still think it's going to be the warmest that we've had so far this year. We hit 85 earlier this month, and so that currently holds the record for the year. But tomorrow's going to be a hot one, and then a little cooler for the last day of May, and then into early June. It looks like a really nice first day of June, too.
Yeah, it does. The whole weekend looks really nice, kind of combo of clouds and sunshine and pleasant temperatures in the afternoon.
Absolutely. That sprinkle chance Saturday, you want to talk about it, Camila? It's so low.
I know. That was a weird one because basically all of the models, except for the graph, were showing dry conditions, especially for the Valley and the Portland metro area. But the graph model just has like the babiest of sprinkles coming through like in the early afternoon. And basically what's happening, which you will see, I'm sure in just a moment, I'm getting ahead of myself. There's just a little dip in the jet stream, but there's not a ton of moisture in the atmosphere. So it's kind of up in the air, but we wanted to cover our bases. So could catch a sprinkle maybe on Saturday.
Just in case. We can't have the emails saying, I saw rain Saturday.
I know.
So.
Not that I think if a tiny sprinkle ruins your outdoor plans, are you really a Portlander? Like, really?
Right. You're definitely not a local. Come on.
Maybe fighting words there, but this is cool. I'm glad you were able to put the loop in here.
Yes. Basically just shows, next week we're going to go to more of a zonal, kind of typical, what we'd see in late May, early June pattern. However, it's slightly warmer. We have that ridge. You can see that little red bubble kind of offshore that's still floating nearby, and it's still kind of blocking any kind of cool air or lows to dip down into the northwest, and that's kind of what we're searching for with that bigger change. So we do know it will at least be cooler, in the 80s, really.
Yeah.
But Yeah.
Yeah, Portland.
70s. I mean, very typical.
Portland and the Pacific Northwest is kind of riding on the edge of that ridge of high pressure over the ocean, and the trough that is more focused on the central U.S. So probably going to see more significant rainfall, like through the Great Plains, through the middle of next week. Does this take? Oh yeah, you have it right there, Friday through Wednesday.
Through
so
Wednesday.
Mhm.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah.
And then, our Just Stream just basically shows the exact same thing, different colors if you're more into these. So, that big ridge is just right over the Pacific. And so we're on the edge of that. And that's why, I think usually we should be in the low 70s, but I think we'll have a few days early next week that could be in the mid to upper 70s. So,
Yep. That's what I was seeing too.
A little cloudier too.
That's right. Yeah. So we'll take it. It's definitely better than the mid 80s, but still a little warmer than average. And then rainfall. I mean, we just have not had much. So now we're showing the calendar, the almanac graphic with measurable rainfall days in Portland. And we have, is it 9? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 measurable rainfall days. So that's not, it's not a ton.
I know, it's really not. And if you're probably wondering why we had to fill in a couple boxes here, it's because...
I wasn't sure if we were going to point it out or not. It's like, no one's going to know.
I mean, it looks a little suspicious. So I just want to point it out. But Katie honestly might have said something last week I didn't look. But so these are the measurable rain for the 19th and 20th. What happened on the 19th and 20th is the National Weather Service didn't put out a daily climate report, which is usually around this time, so 7:30 p.m. Every day. And that's what our models and our computer graphics usually pull from, is directly from that data. So we had to do some manual input there. Yeah. But the 19th was one of our wettest days besides that crazy 1.23 inches we saw on a Saturday. Yeah. Which you may think, wow, that was a great wet day, but really it was just for the metro and the airport. Like that, there was one cell after another that morning. And everywhere else, Salem, even Hillsborough, has only had less than an inch of rain for the month, so it's pretty crazy. Yeah, that was just a very localized heavier shower that passed right over the airport. So we're at 1.9-ish inches for the month. Yep. Yep. And we'll probably end there. So yeah. Lovely. So what are we looking at here? Some ensembles. Yep. So usually, and I wish I pulled up actually, I wish I kept last week's so you could see the difference. What a normal kind of sometimes we get shower pattern is. But I mean, truly, whenever we see that gray or white, that's just indicative of little to no rain. And it's problematic. We don't want to see that, especially because we haven't had a ton of rain in May anyway. Right. There's just not a lot of probability for that happening in the next 7 to 10 days. And this goes through the GFS there on the left goes all the way through next weekend. I think it shows Thursday, Friday. Yep. So 10 days, and then or more than that. I think it goes through a couple weekends. Thursday, am I crazy, or just Saturday? We're blind. We're it's like such small font, people. But all they can see is our foreheads. I know. No, the GFS is indicating, maybe we'll get some showers like in a couple weekends, but like it's I don't know, just a handful of members out of however many are there, 30. So it's not looking great for us with rain. No, and this is a problem because lots of things. First, significant Oregon wildfire of the year happened. And then also that lack of rain is leading to some other things we'll get to in a minute. It's new today, actually. Yeah. So, fire season, my goodness, here we go. I know. As soon as I heard the first wildfire, this Butte fire, I was like, well, here we go. Here we go. I know it seems way too early to talk about this stuff, but I will say, because I think we had a similar experience, was it last year where we had a couple earlier fires? The years tend to blend together, but the timing of thunderstorms, when and where they happen, have a huge hand in wildfire season and when things blow up. So I'm saying let's be cautiously optimistic. Because it depends on a lot of factors, not just it's dry, so wildfire season's going to be crazy, right? There's a lot of different things in play, but we do have 10 active fires right now burning in Oregon, so about 1,800 acres, as you can see on this graphic. And Peyton, like you mentioned, Butte Creek is the biggest one
in Central Oregon, Wheeler County. But we had a newer one that just popped up. Was it yesterday around Mosier?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was only a few acres, I
Yeah.
think, so it was a smaller one, but yeah, it was in Mosier, and they got it contained very quickly, which is excellent. I know we ran a story yesterday that showed they used like this thermal mapping to find
yeah,
it
cool.
and get to it really quick. So I mean, think about all the cool resources that
Mhm.
first responders and firefighters have that hopefully we can apply to wildfire season as we go. Now, of course, that Butte Creek fire got out of hand very quickly.
Mhm.
The conditions were pretty much perfect. It was dry, it was hot, and a little bit breezy. And so 1,700 acres, I mean, that makes a lot of our acres burned so far this
Yeah.
year. So that was kind of our first one. I'll show you a map here. I mean, really, it's called the Butte Creek Fire because it is right over Butte Creek,
Mhm.
and also near the John Day River.
Oh, okay, yep.
So yeah, they were helicopters were pulling water from the river actually to help extinguish it. And last I checked, this could be a few hours old, but it was like 2 or 3 p.m. this afternoon. It was 90% contained.
Oh, okay, so that's good. It's
um,
getting there.
oh, I'm in the dark again. This always happens.
Oh, you got it. That was quick. Quick
There we
reaction
go.
time.
It's okay.
Yeah, so if you are still kind of, where is this? 9 miles north of Clarno, Oregon, which maybe that doesn't help. I didn't know what town that was. I'm so sorry to the people of Clarno, Oregon. But yeah, kind of up in the mountains in the wilderness there.
Yeah, kind of just if you look at a huge map of Oregon, it's basically to the northeast of Bend.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Give or take, south of the Dalles.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is another concern. Obviously, we've been talking about the lack of rain, and we've had bits and pieces here of some good doses of rain. But that 1.2 plus inches we saw on that random Saturday is helping this number on the left that you're seeing here. The number on the left is spring rainfall from March all the way through May 28th, so yesterday, and we've had just over 7.5 inches. So if we didn't get that random Saturday, I mean, we would still be around 6 inches,
Yeah.
which is pretty crazy.
Right.
So our deficit's about 1.5 inches, from where we should be in that same 3-month time frame. Elsewhere it's even worse. I know a lot of Central Valley locations really need the rain.
Mhm.
And this is the new thing. Camilla, you want to talk about this? This is brand new today.
Yeah, absolutely. Fresh, hot off the presses, U.S. Drought Monitor. I know that many of you are probably at home just refreshing those monitors, just like ready for the fresh drought
every
monitor.
Thursday you have an alarm.
Yes. But it is telling because now for the first time this year, we're seeing some moderate drought showing up on the map. So last week we just had some spots of dry, which is not the same as drought. And now you can see kind of the spots with tan coloring that indicates moderate drought. So we see a little bit of that in Northwest Oregon and in Northeast Oregon. Still less than 9% of the entire state in drought, so that's good. But the point is, we're starting to see things drying out, which is, typical for this time of year.
Yeah, we knew it was bound to happen,
Mhm.
especially with just the lack of rain we've had since the winter. This is just for northwestern Oregon, really, but that big gap that you're seeing in southern Oregon is all thanks to great snowpack and also tons of rain that they've gotten throughout the spring. In Medford, Klamath Falls, and a lot of those higher elevations. So. Yeah, it's not everybody, and it's not, doom and gloom, world's ending, and we're going to have a terrible wildfire season. This is very easy to bounce back from. It just, is a matter of when or if that will happen.
Right. Yeah.
Because we need the rain.
And thankfully, I mean, I should have checked right before the podcast, but I imagine the water reservoirs are still in great shape through southern Oregon because of the amazing, winter snowfall that we got.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that snowmelt is doing good things. I mean, we all know this, especially if you're a local, but lots of ways you can prevent wildfires. I always say, if you have any open flames, babysit them like they are a human.
Yeah.
You want to sit there and watch it at all times. All it takes is a quick little breeze or a spark or, a little piece of that fire to start a huge one. You also want to make sure it's fully extinguished, no embers or anything by the time you leave. And then always scan your environment, even if you're just using equipment outside or maybe you're parking your car on the side of the road. That hot vehicle over dry grass easily starts a fire. We see it every year. And then local burn bans. We don't have any right now, at least to my knowledge, but there's always that little Smokey the Bear thing as you're driving along.
Yep.
Fire danger today. really pay attention to that. I mentioned hot weather, dry, and breezy conditions are kind of the three key factors. But I mean, all it takes again is just a lightning strike to cause one,
Right.
or throwing a cigarette out the window. So just never burn when those conditions are, around you, just because that's just going to make it worse or more likely to have one.
Yeah, and fireworks are a biggie too. I mean, really think twice before you set off fireworks during the hot and dry summer season, especially.
Yes, 4th of July. Sorry, folks.
I know.
Okay, let's talk about summer. My goodness, I mean,
It's around the
we're
corner,
here.
Peyton. How did this happen? How did we get here?
I don't know. I swear. We were just saying summer like, and I'm like, oh, we can't really say summer like anymore. It's practically summer.
Yeah, we can just say full on summer, right? Starting June 1st. Well, this is always kind of a debate. When does real summer begin?
See, now we agree, I think, that it is Sunday.
Yes,
it's
June 1st.
However, I think your phone calendar or whatever will say it's June 20th.
Yeah.
And it's basically, scientifically, usually we all do the June 1st through the end of August, and that 3-month time frame we label as meteorological summer. It's basically just to keep climate data consistent because, as you know, the end of the month can change from time to time. We also have sun angle changing. And so this just makes it set in stone, that 3-month period we're calling summer, and it's also the warmest 3 months.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
It just makes sense, yes.
Yeah. Versus astronomical is all based on the sun angle, and when that happens, and yada yada yada, the not cool one.
You know where we stand. Meteorological or bust.
Right. So this map looks a little scary. I actually made a video about this on our Fox 12 Oregon Facebook pages a little earlier this week. Basically, this is saying, okay, most of the West Coast in that June through August time frame I was just talking about is going to have above normal temperatures. Now, that above normal temperature just is a generalized estimate over that 3 months. Doesn't mean every single day we'll be in the 90s and 100s,
right,
and we're all going to melt.
Right.
No. But basically, if we took the 3 months, come September, we look back at that 3 months, most likely we're going to say it was an above normal summer.
Yeah. And it could be above normal by a degree or two. I mean, it also doesn't necessarily mean that it's a dramatic change above normal.
Yeah. Yeah. Either way, basically this week was a warm up to what we're going to see. And not great news with all that, lack of rainfall we just talked about. Below normal rainfall, again, expected. So.
Yep, for the Pacific Northwest. See. Yeah, we'll see what happens. And then it looks like above normal rainfall for the East Coast.
Oh, yeah, for the East Coast. Probably hurricane season related too.
Yep.
Which we'll get to. My goodness. Okay, there's so much to talk about. Well, summer warming, I always like to throw this in because this has been something, and even Mark and I talk about this constantly because, we both grew up locally. And I even remember from early 2000s to now how much warmer it has been, and my house didn't really get AC in some parts, and now it's like a dire need to get through the summer.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say that's pretty telling when especially if you look at the older houses in the Portland metro area. I mean, none of them were built with air conditioners, and that's because the climate didn't require that. So yeah, things are definitely changing.
Exactly. So, this graphic goes to show a lot of the West is victim to that the most. Portland, just over about 3 degrees of warning. I will say the U.S. average is 2.6. So we have exceeded that, and obviously very telling on this graphic. Climate Central is an excellent resource, by the way, if you ever want to look at climate data. They break it down by city. It's really excellent.
That's cool.
And then June 1st also marks hurricane season. Gosh, this is such a special day.
Oh my gosh, yeah, lots going on.
Lots going on, and we got an early start in the Pacific. We beat the Atlantic. That doesn't happen too often.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Yeah.
So this is Tropical Storm Alvin. Will likely only be a tropical storm, so that's good. 60-mile-an-hour winds. This was just at 5 o'clock, so a couple hours ago, so Thursday evening. And it's just gonna kind of float around and bring some rain to the western coast of Mexico. Is it going to cause, anything catastrophic? No, but still, of course, our first storm of the season, a little bit of flooding, probably some gusty winds, but it's going to weaken by Saturday before it makes that landfall.
That's what it looked like from the forecast that, it was going to weaken from a tropical storm to basically just a strong low pressure system. So that is good news before it makes landfall along the southern tip there of Baja California.
Yeah, this reminds me of Alvin and the Chipmunks, though.
Yes.
I don't know. That's like my childhood.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Totally. I was going to try to like do the voice, but I'm also kind of congested right now. It just wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, by the way, we're like dropping like flies in the weather
Oh
center.
my gosh.
But we're gonna hope to anybody and everybody that we're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Stay healthy, everybody.
Gets sick.
Yes.
I know.
Okay. Viewer photo time.
Gosh, it's so beautiful. We have some very talented viewers, don't we?
We really do. Yeah, we get some pretty impressive photos. This was a great one. You can see, I imagine this was taken around sunset, but I suppose it could be sunrise. I just see a little pink glow there on Mount St. Helens, which is beautiful. And this picture was taken from Silver Lake, Washington. So thank you, Kathy. You can see the little creek there in the foreground. Just beautiful.
So beautiful. And also, wait, was it last weekend? That was the anniversary?
Oh, yes. Was it?
We didn't include that.
We should have included that.
Wait, 20
no, I'm going to Google it.
18. Now I feel like it was 2 weekends ago and I'm just being silly.
I don't know. When was it? 19. Give me a
19th.
date. Give me a date. This is taking too long.
May
18th. May 18th, so it was longer ago than we thought.
Yeah.
We're just
Why
crazy.
does that feel like it was Sunday? But I guess that was 2 Sundays ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
Well, does show how long we've been here.
Yes. Okay, back to the viewer photos. More beautiful sunrise images here. You can see a variety of clouds and just some stunning colors in those clouds, reflected oranges and pinks. So good. Thank you, Mark, for this one.
Yeah. We've had a lot of like mornings with some clouds and then the afternoons with some sunshine. And so obviously got some beautiful sunrises.
Yeah, definitely. This was a cool one, Peyton.
This was jellyfish clouds, some people call them. But yeah, basically, I mean, I actually don't know the science behind this. I probably should. Do you know, Carla?
I mean, I heard that there's like, when you have changing conditions in the upper atmosphere, you have some moisture, so you have like the ice crystals, and then and then you have the winds going in different directions in the different layers, so that's what causes that kind of dragging effect of the ice crystals, and it really does look like, I mean, jellyfish in some cases. Like that lower,
it's a cool photo.
So that lower, or the kind of middle lower left one, that really looks like a jellyfish to me. That's great.
It really does. So cool. I think cirrus clouds are truly one of the most fascinating. Like I know people always talk about cumulus clouds and stuff, but but truly they make some beautiful shapes. I always say to kids in elementary schools, it's like feather, it's stretchy, and then it's ice crystals, so it's really high up in the sky.
Very cool.
Okay, term of the week time. This one, I feel like in my head everybody knows about this one, but it is a newer term.
Is it?
Yes. So, urban heat island. We say it in a lot of news stories. I think, in the last 10, 15 years, but it kind of correlates with that summer warming we were talking about. Now, it's kind of exactly how it sounds, an urban heat island. And if you're watching, you can read that really lengthy definition. But honestly, I was reading the definition myself and I said that just confused me more. So let me just explain it to you.
Closed isotherms? That's not something that like the average person can like grasp onto? Yeah.
No, I don't even think I could decipher that definition. Here's a picture, because I'm a big picture girl.
Yes.
So let's just say the air temperature is 85. Well, in rural areas with lots of, natural environment, grass, trees, not so much concrete, likely the air temperature is going to stay 85. But when we get into these more urban areas with more infrastructure and concrete and dark surfaces and less trees and less natural environment, then it tends to get warmer. Now, this may just make sense in our head, but actually this is a really huge issue with our overnight lows. So overnight, those buildings, like throughout the day, they hold in the heat and they retain it, and then they slowly release the heat overnight. So that's why most days, especially in the summer, the Portland metro area will be anywhere from 5 to 7, 8 degrees warmer than, let's say, rural Hillsborough or Forest Grove or even down into McMinnville or Newburgh. So It's pretty fascinating. And in fact, most warming in cities is due to this urban environment and urban heat island effect. So it's almost like a little bubble, like a heat dome above that concrete area.
Absolutely. And do you remember, the only reason I know this is because it was fairly recent in one of my meteorology classes. It impacts, or it can impact precipitation too, because areas that are downwind of these urban heat islands or, urban centers, you've got the rising air, which if you've got moisture in the air can, turn into clouds, turn into rain clouds, and can dump more precipitation downstream. So that was also kind of an interesting thing.
So fascinating. Yeah. I mean, I think we can feel it too. And that's why I think back to the AC topic, in the summer when, downtown Portland could easily be much warmer than the air temperature. I mean, this graphic showing 7 degrees. It makes it that much hotter, especially if you're in a high-rise building, you're in the upper level, heat rises. I mean, it gets really hot. And so heat is already, one of the number one causes of weather-related fatalities. And I just don't think we're well equipped in Portland at all.
Yeah,
so
I know. It can be scary.
Oh, and I'm in the dark again. There we go. This light doesn't like me. Clearly I don't move enough.
No, you're good. Yeah, so interesting stuff. That was a great term of the week. Good choice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I mean, especially because now we're all running to Costco and getting our AC units and fans and loading it up because of this last little heat spell we had.
Yeah, I will say though, when they replaced the sensors, it has gotten much better because I remember the difference would be so much more dramatic at PDX than even Troutdale or, Beaverton or whatever. So that has helped a little bit.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. It's more of an issue in the summer. We don't see it too much, on those cooler days.
Yeah.
But still, very fascinating. And now you know. Now you can, tell your friends about this one.
You'll be the biggest hit at your next party, definitely. Just parrot any information you hear at this in this podcast, and immediate friends. You'll be the cool person for sure.
You can trust us.
Lame. No, it's good. It's good nerdy stuff.
It is. Okay, well, I mean, shoot, that's it. Just like that. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, wherever you are. Hopefully you're staying cool, at least tomorrow, and then we'll enjoy those days in the 70s.
Yes.
If you ever have questions that you ever, suggestions, things you want us to answer, talk about, photos to send, you can always email us or just send your photos or videos to our Fox 12 app. And we can show them. Yeah. We always love to see them.
Yes. Actually, that's a great idea. We would love, because sometimes we're sitting there going, what should our term of the week be this week? So if there's something you heard or saw and you're like, what is this? Please email us. That would actually be great for the podcast.
Yeah. We'll take suggestions, please. Yeah. Okay. Well, hope you guys have a good morning, day, evening, and we'll catch you next time.
Please tell us